Miles, exhaustion. After 2 weeks living in a hotel room with a 2-year-old we just met and flying from the other side of the world, we were finally home. And the reality of taking a child from everything he knows set in.
It's hard. You're exhausted because you're also traveling internationally, so the jet lag just gets you.
We happily took help from family and friends, some of whom adopted themselves.
Aaron, putting these in.
Peg McGuire and her husband, Joe Campagna, adopted 2 boys, Timothy from Guatemala and Charlie from Ethiopia.
He does have his times of setback, I think.
They understand the raw feelings that come during those first few months home. A time you are told to cocoon, spend time within your family unit to allow James to understand we were the ones who would care for him. It didn't take long to realize I don't cocoon well.
I was sensing it because I'd been there, sister.
Food did and still does cause James stress. Early on, we dealt with jet lag and a 2-year-old who was just too stressed to sleep.
Reach out for help, talk to your social workers, cry. M&Ms, I think, were very helpful.
We met up with Chad Wills, a counselor at Associates in Brief Therapy, starting our appointments before we even left for China.
You had done your research, you had talked with several other professionals.
It gave us time to process the importance that we stay calm on Gotcha Day. There was James, the day we finally got our son, and the day James had to say goodbye to everyone and everything he had ever known.
He would fall into a style of probably an anxious attachment style, so meaning he had a lot of clingy responses to you, and I don't have to tell you about that, the sleepless nights. If you leave the room, it's like out of sight, you have left me, very fearful response, what if I'm left again?
After years of work to get to this point, there were moments I wondered if my family would make it. Early on, smiles didn't come as easy for James. To now, he finally realizes that big brother of his, Henry, is pretty cool.
Henry's been a trooper,
Consistency and routine continue to be imperative. I'll be back. My constant reassurance, I'll be back, began when James would absolutely wail when I simply got out of the car to go get him from his car seat. Stand right there, bud. It evolved into bigger transitions, such as leaving him at daycare and reassuring him I would return.
Hey, how's it going?
Now, walks right in.
I'll see you later, bud.
Of course, we realize there's still work ahead.
He does still have a long way to go. It's still pretty new for him.
April Hara is our local social worker. She and Tiffany Williams, our case manager from our adoption agency, continue to be a huge help with James's adjustment and how to handle his grieving.
Maybe it's going to be in their sleep through night terrors or nightmares later, or maybe they are going to cry quietly in their crib later at night.
James was in a foster home for most of his life. To him, his foster mom was his mom.
And you give him permission to love her, and still love us, and you honor her, in the way that you talk about her and that kind of thing. I do think it can be a positive thing.
They don't know who to come to for comforting, so they don't know that I'm mom and that I'm here forever and I'm going to love you no matter what all the time.
Mama.
Mama.
Night-night, buddy.
Night-night.
The first year home will be filled with mile markers.
You have to experience sort of every different layer together. This is our first time going to the pumpkin patch. This is our first Christmas.
For now, we will focus on daily accomplishments.
We're all good.
Bedtime is calmer. I no longer have to hold James's flailing arms and legs.
There we go.
As he's screamed for his foster mom each night.
Night-night, buddy.
Now we can sing Twinkle Twinkle with our son, not over his crying to try and calm him down.
How I wonder what you are.
Once afraid of my husband, James now happily plays with Dad and goes to him for comfort. And of course, James and Henry have their typical annoyances with one another, but those epic meltdowns from early on have calmed. James has been through a lot, but he's like any other 2-year-old.
It's one of those areas where I don't want to make light of all the transitions he's been through, nor do I want them to become his entire story.
It's time to look ahead, guide him, love him, and watch him grow into the person he's supposed to be.
Again, it's worth it. But, you know, I'd rather have this family than any other family that God could have given me.
We were told in China these kids were survivors. You know what? So was our family.
Suddenly now they feel like they've always been here